My name is Liz Partsch.
And I am Paul Rowley.
And welcome to Farm and Dairy's weekly rundown.
Oh, we're so back when we will be giving you a rundown of all of the week's top stories.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yes, we will.
Happy Memorial Day? Is that appropriate?
Well, actually, it would have been, this is the week after.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope everybody had a happy Memorial Day.
Belated.
And hopefully you didn't get too wet.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a washout.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be here for you next week.
It was a washout.
Depending on us driving home and, the flood taking us.
Yes, we were filming this early.
Yeah. As our deadline is early.
Yes.
But, we're here to bring you all of the news.
Yes. And there was news. Would you like to kick us off?
Sure, Paul. Kick us off.
Yes.
Well, the country is on the verge of a nuclear renaissance driven by, you guessed it, data centers. And the Trump administration is pushing this agenda forward. Already, the administration has released executive orders pushing for the rapid development of new reactors and opening up permitting on federal land, among other things. And like anything energy related, our region will play a part in this renaissance. Already, 4 nuclear power plants will come back online or had their lives extended to power data centers, including 3 Mile Island, the site of the worst nuclear accident on United States soil. Pretty infamous. We all have heard about it, or most of us have probably heard about it. Unit 1 of 3 Mile Island will power Microsoft's data center. That's the one that didn't explode, or not explode. That's the one that didn't melt down. Yeah. And then 3 more power plants, 1 in Pennsylvania and 2 in Ohio, were slated for retirement before Vistra, which is an energy company based out of Texas, I believe, bought them in 2004, and now they will be powering Meta's data centers. Meta, the big tech giant that owns Facebook and Instagram. Yeah.
Wow.
So I want you to guess, Paul, what the average age of a nuclear power plant is in the United States.
I think it's going to be rather high. I would say I'm going to guess like 56 years.
That is a bit too high, but you're pretty close. It's 44 years old.
Okay.
So older than our entire editorial team, if that puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
So this means that most of these nuclear reactors require larger upgrades. Some of them are outdated. And the same is true for a lot of these power plants that we use for data centers. So to read more about this, because this is really just like the introductory piece. This is to make it clear, this is the first story in the second part of our Powering a Nation Energy series, which the second part will focus on nuclear energy if that hasn't already been made obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to read more about this and like the legislation behind what's going on, why is nuclear energy, I guess I should say this too. I forgot to mention, there's a reason why nuclear energy is being, sought after for data centers, right? Natural gas, you can argue it's because of how cheap it is, how available it is. That's probably the one that we're going to see most for these, data centers, because nuclear power plants are very expensive. That's why we're not seeing new ones. That's why all these nuclear power plants are 44 years old. So, but the thing that nuclear power does have that other energy types don't is that they produce 24/7 consistent energy nonstop. And what does a data center need? But data center is also consistent nonstop, requires this energy nonstop. So really, they match really well, which is why these nuclear power plants are being eyed up for powering data centers. So anyways, again, to read more about this, you can visit the front of the paper this week. Or go online to farmanddairy.com.
Yeah. Slay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul and I would also like to go to Japan.
Oh, yeah. Let's make a plug now.
Yeah. We're going to plug this. Jordan.
Our publisher. Yes.
If you want to send us to Fukushima and Chernobyl,
we would like to go.
We would really love to do a great investigative series. Would really get a lot of hits on the medias, I think, the social medias. So
there has to be like a grant or something to send us.
Send us little Farm and Dairy reporters to Ukraine during wartime, please.
Or maybe just tell your friends to buy a subscription to the paper.
Or just do that. Yeah, that's true. That's probably the easiest way to support. But if you have extra funds, you could donate to the
to the Paul and Liz Take Fukushima Fund.
Yeah. What the series is going to be about is more. It's probably more going to be like ghost hunters, but it's like ghost hunters, but like really radiation hunters. And Paul and I are just going to be on a bus with like suited up and like reading a thermometer that's going to go higher and higher. Yeah. And then you're just going to see a bunch of pictures of like abandoned buildings. Yeah, exactly. Everybody likes seeing that.
Yeah.
Is it worth the money?
Yes. I say yes.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's very good. Thank you for making that plug.
Just had to plug it in. I mean, we had time because there's another story coming up about nuclear. But, I wanted to put that, front and center.
Mm-hmm.
That's our goal, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, most def. Yeah. Okay. It's my turn, I guess. Yeah. Well, this is in our news section of the paper. So let me give you the permission that columnist Selena Zito wants you to all have to uncritically enjoy the next American summer road trip in a time of great division, strife, and war, where gas is $5 a gallon. So I'm going to bring you to her column.
That's exactly what I was thinking this summer, Paul. When I was like passing the gas station, I was thinking, God, I need to take a summer road trip.
I would love
gas
to.
is so affordable right now.
Oh, yeah. So we can go anywhere we want, and it will just be a breeze. She writes a fawning piece about Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy's new YouTube documentary, which you may have heard about, which has made the rounds in other news media outlets. This piece or the series was captured over the course of a 7-month period while Mr. Duffy was carrying out his cabinet duties, apparently. Men like Henry Ford, Zito writes, knew that no matter what class you fell in, everyone wanted the freedom and adventure that automobiles provide. As if, well, I'm just going to stop there. Anyway, Americans still love their cars and road trips. You've heard me talk a lot about my car. I love my car. It is always broken, but I love my car. Mm-hmm. Selena Zito writes, more than 100 years after the first assembly line was introduced in 1913, and massive scaling made automobiles affordable to most people. We just keep loving to head out on the road. She probably could have stopped there. Instead, she recounts how Sean Duffy, his wife, and their 9 children filmed this series.
You had to restate that part, yeah.
Filmed this series in intervals of 1 to 3 day trips, turning it into a 5-part series called The Great American Road Trip, which if I didn't say it already, it will be on YouTube for your viewing pleasure over this perhaps Memorial Day weekend or later this summer. Duffy said that it was paid for by a nonprofit group of the same name and that no taxpayer dollars were spent on any of his family members or anybody. So I guess according to Sean Duffy, his fond memories of packed coolers, roadside oddities, and games of I Spy from his own family road trips spent with his freakishly large family, which was like twice the size of his family, counting red barns and things that children do during road trips, all of the games that they play and whatever. Some things never changed, Selena says that he said, delivered with a broad smile. Okay. No better way to celebrate this country on our 250th year than getting out there and seeing it, noted Duffy. Okay, look. So Selena Zito does write, Selena, thank you, does write that AAA is projecting a record-breaking summer travel season for our nation's big day, which is apparently coming up very soon, with an estimated 39 million Americans taking road trips for the Memorial Day weekend, which I guess by now has already passed for you listeners and viewers. Probably not a good
idea. I mean, now that we're like in Memorial, like coming up on it, and there's a humongous, like basically torrential downpour rain.
This has been a big topic of discussion in the office today, the rain.
But also like, okay, keep going.
Yeah,
you just got to keep going before I say something I don't want to.
Yeah. So a lot of people heading out on the roads for the summer. And she writes, and this is happening despite drivers facing rising gas prices. As the summer travel season approaches, AAA reports that the national average price for gas currently, regular gasoline, is $4.53 per gallon. Okay. Duffy, she writes, is sensitive to that burden and suggests that you don't have to go far from home, perhaps 60 miles or less in any direction, to get that bonding with your family messy fights and all, a taste of local history that you may have missed, and a refresher of your understanding of the region you call home, which can all coalesce and bring us to our divided nation together, so to speak, or whatever. Okay. I disagree to an extent. I don't, but that is what she writes about. And that's cool. And I wish all families who are undertaking road trips this year all the luck in the world. Have a great time. Be safe. All of that. Oh man, I don't know.
I think it's worth talking about why, like, Selena Zena wrote this, and or maybe like why, for people that don't know, which I didn't know before, like Paul read this story and we were talking about in the office earlier, that Sean Duffy's receiving a lot of criticism for this, and I think it's worth noting why, because he's the Secretary of Transportation, and when he was taking this road trip, we have a lot of transportation issues. We were seeing airplanes just falling out of the sky with all of the air traffic controllers, not being there, like literally being overworked. What else was going on? There was and also gas and oil prices just being absorbently, like, so high, like highest like I can ever remember. And then like encouraging families to go out and road trip when like most American families can't afford gas very well. I mean, I literally saw a story, like a guy the other day that made a Barbie car.
I saw that.
Exactly. He was driving that because gas prices are so crazy that he decided to do this. But yeah, and then we're also talking about like, wage is not going up, but inflation is going up. So you have all these factors, and then you have the Secretary of Transportation not only not at his desk doing things to make transportation cheaper and more accessible to people, but he's just like kind of going out there and just like encouraging, oh, just get out. It's fine. It's fun. Like, yeah, we all love a good road trip. I'm there with you, Sean Duffy. I love a good road trip. But I don't know if encouraging all these American families to take a road trip while you're literally not doing your job and sitting in your office trying to make it more accessible for American families to take road trip is the best thing to do with your elected position. So I think that's where the criticism is. Take it as you will.
There was some debate around double standard being present, where like the last transportation secretary, Pete Buttigieg, took parental leave when one of his children, I believe after their birth, was in the ICU. I believe that's what happened. And so this child was in the hospital for medical issues, and he took leave and like roundly received a lot of criticism from, I don't know, members on the right. Lots of people were like, why are you at a time like this taking time out of your, and then he undertakes this project where like all these other new crises are happening. And it's like, oh, like that seems,
but
like,
he's not like taking care of his like newborn child.
Oh, right. It's like, so it's just to film this kind of this, I don't want to call it a vanity piece, but because I feel like that's beneath me and as a reporter, but nevertheless, it is open to you now, dear readers, to I guess have an opinion or not, or to
inform yourselves. I will say, when I was looking at Sean Duffy and like his children, like it has their names online, and two of their names are Paloma and Margarita. And I'm just like, why?
This is just an aside.
Clearly you were drinking tequila when you were like thought of these names. I mean, I actually don't think Paloma is a bad name. I actually think that's kind of a cute name. Yeah, Paloma's not bad. But why would you name your child Margarita? Like, I can't even believe it's actually a child's name. So anyway, that was just interesting. But anyway, enough with Sean Duffy. I hope he had a great road trip with his family.
Yeah, all the best to them and all that.
All the best. So, and we're going to move on now.
We're going to move on. Yeah.
Cool. Well, the second story in the second part of our Powering a Nation series. So this one, the first one was kind of an explainer piece about like what's happening with nuclear energy and how is it connected to data centers. This one is like focusing on a specific place. It's so we're focusing on the Portsmouth Gas Distribution Plant in Piketon, Ohio. The plant is a uranium enrichment facility built in the 50s to build nuclear weapons for the Cold War. If you don't know what uranium enrichment is, I'll give you a little crash course. Basically, raw uranium, when we mine it, there's several different versions of uranium, I guess you could say. And the uranium that is needed for nuclear weapons and nuclear reactors needs to be enriched in order to be used.
Right. Okay.
So it's basically essential. It is essential.
Yeah.
Before on any of that stuff. So over the years, the 4,000-acre U.S. Department of Energy owned facility, our plant has fueled the local economy, and it is basically one of the best jobs in town. And that's says Lou Thompson, who has worked 7 different positions at the plant for decades and has allowed him to really provide for his family. But the job hasn't been without its costs. Many workers, including Thompson, end up with long-term illnesses or cancer as a result of working with uranium, and some even dying.
Wow.
Which I get into at the story, not going to get into now.
Yeah.
Current and former DOE workers can actually get their medical expenses covered under the program for certain illnesses and cancer that were as a result of working at a nuclear facility. So basically, the DOE created this program being like, yeah, we see all these cancers and illnesses that were caused by you guys working at our facilities, so we're going to pay for this.
Wow.
But getting accepted into this program isn't easy. Many workers are denied multiple times before getting accepted, and some are still struggling.
Wow.
Again, i.e. the story. I talked to some workers that Lou Thompson himself got denied twice, and it took him over almost a decade to get one of his medical conditions covered. And then I talked to some other people that are still struggling. But workers aren't the only ones getting sick. Community members around the plant are also getting cancer. Zahn's Corner Middle School, located 4 miles from the plant, was closed in 2019 after enriched uranium was found and multiple students died.
Oh, wow.
That had went to the school, or also students that lived close to the plant, young students as well.
Wow.
In fact, Pike and Scioto counties have one of the highest mortality rates of cancer in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
And that's according to the Ohio Department of Health recent statistics. But despite all of this, more industry is coming. Uranium enrichment operations were recently expanded. The DOE gave a bunch of money to do this, and which it will create thousands of jobs in the region. This has gotten a lot of support from the Ohio governor himself and other legislators. And the world's largest AI data center is proposed on the site as well.
Wow.
The world's largest, apparently. So, they're seeing a lot of industry. So, some residents, some residents see it as like going for it. This is a good direction. We need the jobs, right? That's what Lou said. However, they have concerns about safety. Already there's some safety issues here that haven't been addressed. I guess I should mention too, this facility is closed and they're decommissioning it, which means they're cleaning it up. And Lou Thompson had mentioned to me that that's where it's difficult because they're dismantling these structures. But it's not like you can put a whole bubble around these buildings that had uranium in them. It's getting into the environment, is what Lou had said, which is what he believes is causing, more cancer throughout this community.
Wow.
So, that's where Emily, another person I talked to, her name is Emily Stone. She talks about, that's why she's concerned about the data center, because now you're going to have people working on this land that was used for this specific stuff, and she's concerned it's just going to continue to exacerbate these health problems by digging up this soil that has all this stuff in it, right? So they do emphasize they're not, anti-nuclear in any sense, but they just want the DOE to take some responsibility for what's already happened at this site before, starting anew, basically. So I swear this is a condensed version. I talked to a lot of people in this story. I think their stories are really important. I think it's important to read the story and not just listen to this short description I gave you. You don't really get the full picture. So to read the full story, it is on the front of our auction checks on the front of the paper this week. And it's also online as part of our Powering a Nation series. So check it out.
Let's hear it for Liz for her work on the Powering a Nation series. There we go. That's right. Okay.
No, that is so funny. Oh my God.
That one dude is really into it.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice work, everybody. Very, very. I'm sure it was a lot of effort to pull all of that together.
Yeah. So. I did tell I told our editor, Rachel, earlier, I was like, every time I finish one of these stories, I think I need like a margarita or like
Yeah.
some little
like
treat.
Sean Duffy's,
An actual margarita, not Sean Duffy's child.
Just this margarita's on the brain clearly.
Yeah,
so it's almost
yeah.
the weekend. So
It really is. I mean, long weekend, guys. Woo! Sitting at home, listening to all that rain.
yeah.
If I make it home,
Yeah,
if we
right.
all make it
Get
home.
washed away.
Yeah.
Well, from our friends at the Associated Press, I have a fun. It's not fun actually. But it is if you are into true crime. A man, this is a story that I believe it appears in our auction section. A man who spent nearly 21 years in prison for the deaths of 2 Michigan hunters agreed to a $5.25 million settlement after accusing police of failing to turn over evidence that could have helped him at trial, according to a lawyer on May 18th. Jeff Titus was released from prison in 2023, and his murder convictions were erased at the request of prosecutors. The Innocence Clinic at the University of Michigan Law School and 2 investigators got authorities to acknowledge that an Ohio serial killer might have been the person who killed the hunters in 1990. Ohio has a lot of serial killers.
Wasn't Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yeah, I think he was an Ohio dude. I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. I'm like, oh, like if
I can't name any more though.
Yeah. I feel like there's just been a lot of like weird people that have come out of Ohio. Like if I had a nickel, I'd have, I think, a few nickels. But anyway.
Yeah, Logan Paul came from Ohio.
He's not a serial killer that we know of, but he is pretty weird.
Oh no, he's not a serial killer. I want to make that clear. I'm not saying he's, no, he's just kind of weird.
He's
That's
just
what I meant
kind
by
of a weird
that.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
like
fair.
he's a internet personality, and then he also is now fighting.
Yeah.
Like wrestling.
Which was the Logan brothers that went to Japan?
I don't know, but
they went to Japan. One of them.
Really?
Yeah, and they went specific. It was a big controversy.
Wow.
Because they went to.
It's Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
I think it was Jake, because Jake went to a forest that is colloquially, I think, only maybe just on the internet, known as the suicide forest, quote unquote.
Oh my god, I think I remember hearing about this.
And it was it's very. He produced content that was very disrespectful to the sanctity of this forest and anyway, it was a mess. It was not something you should do. And then there was a cheap horror movie that was not.
See, the wrong people are going to Japan.
I know,
you know who should go to Japan?
Thank you.
Us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because we're actually.
Yeah.
Exactly. We would do us
Yeah.
in that someplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we would do it. We would do some quality reporting. I think. Yeah.
So anyway, so here's some information about the victims as far as the Jeff Titus story, who he was not the killer of these people, these poor men. This is Doug Estes and Jim Bennett. They were fatally shot near Titus's property in Kalamazoo County, which is a fun name for a county, in 1990. Titus initially was cleared as a suspect, but murder charges were filed against him 12 years later. Prosecutors portrayed Titus as a hothead who did not like trespassers. Students and staff at the University of Michigan Law School were trying to get him a new trial when a 30-page file from the original investigation was discovered at the county sheriff's office, which the AP describes as a blockbuster. It referred to an alternative suspect whose name was Thomas Dillon of Magnolia, Ohio. Jacinda Davis at the TV network Investigation Discovery and this other person through the podcast Undisclosed had raised doubts about Titus's guilt and aired questions about Dillon's possible role. So it all came together kind of with the discovery of this file.
Mm-hmm.
Dillon died in prison in 2011. He was arrested in 1993 and ultimately pleaded guilty to killing 5 people in Ohio who had been hunting, fishing, or jogging. Okay. So that is the preface, basically.
And they didn't think to connect him to the crime, even though he had a history of.
Not. And then I'm not sure. This is really all that was written by the AP about this story. But there is a big what happened in those ensuing 12 years.
I gotta check out that podcast. Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting story on Undisclosed. The person whose name I didn't mention is Susan Simpson. So she might be associated with Undisclosed, the podcast, if you want to check that out.
Yeah, everybody check it out. Sounds really interesting.
But oh man, I gotta talk while we're talking about true crime. I have to talk about what has just
really consumed The Office.
It has consumed The Office and much of the nation. Because and what I'm talking about is the Netflix documentary about Mackenzie Strilla. And her story has very little in common with the Jeff Titus story. But I'm going to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about Mackenzie anyway. If you have not been on Netflix recently, if you have, you've probably seen The Crash. which is a new documentary on Netflix about this incident in 2022 when this young woman, she was 17, Miss Shrilla, behind the wheel of her Toyota Corolla when she crashed going 100 miles an hour into a brick wall in an industrial area of Strongsville, Ohio, killing her boyfriend, Dominic Russo, and their friend, Davion Flanagan. They were both passengers in the car. The documentary about the crash explores the immediate aftermath of the accident. Well, was it an accident? Was it not an accident? The immediate aftermath of the incident, the ensuing investigation into what happened, and then it also includes interviews with family and friends, some of which are very well, you just have to watch, I guess. In fact, the Mackenzie's father recently, believe, was dismissed from his job due to his involvement in comments that he made on the documentary. But the mystery deepens when authorities realized that she was actually not under the influence of drugs or alcohol, which was initially suspected. And they pieced together what her motivations might have been then for why this incident ever took place. From her toxic relationship with her boyfriend to her seeming reckless abandon throughout all facets of her life. And I actually have one teeny tiny personal connection to this documentary, which I was watching it and myself while I was doing other things, and I realized something when I was watching it. After it was determined that the crash was actually not a tragic accident, but was something else, much later, like a few months after it took place, Miss Shrilla was pulled over and arrested and brought into custody and all that. And this all took place, according to the body cameras, right by an intersection that you have to take to get to my house. That's like 5 minutes away. So I was watching. I was like, no way, because there's a hotel that you can that juts above the freeway that you can see, and I was like, is that the Hyatt? And I was like, oh my god, it was my document. It's my documentary. It's my exit.
You better hope it's on your documentary.
I know, God. But it's my exit to get to my house, and I live like right around there. And I was like, oh my god. And I paused it, and I was yelling at my partner. I was like, get in here, look, it's where we live. And this arrest happened right there. But
that's wild.
But it's been I actually know some people because Strongsville, for those of you who might not know, is a suburb of Cleveland. And so I know people who are like from the area, and they kind of, I don't think I know anyone who knows this family, but like it was a big deal when this accident happened in 2022. She is in prison, and she was found to have fully intended to crash this car. The documentary does not answer every question that I had. Like, for example, I haven't done enough of my own Googling about it. I guess maybe I could answer this question that way, but I don't understand why they were on this road to begin with. Like, that I felt like was an obvious, like, we need to figure out, is that a route home for them? Like, why was she in this area in the first place? Like, I don't understand.
I mean, I haven't watched the documentary yet because I don't have Netflix.
Yeah.
But eventually
it's there. It's there when you get it, if you would like to. But it's, I don't know, an interesting story. And it just, I've been talking about it a lot, and there's been a lot of like people are making some like LOL kind of memes. They're not quite tasteless yet that I've seen about like the documentary and then like the case a little bit. There's a McDonald's near Parma where someone drove through the window of the restaurant somehow. And this is actually not the first time this has happened, according to the person I talked to behind the counter. But there's a meme going around of the boarded up giant facade of the McDonald's, and it says Shrilla was here on the front of it, which is just like,
it actually says Shrilla.
No, I think it's photoshopped, because I was there recently and I did not, unless they somehow were able to erase the graffiti, but I don't.
They would have had to paint over it or something.
I don't think that was actually there, but it's an image that I've seen circulated on like a meme that I've seen circulated on local little channels on like Facebook and stuff, which it just gives you a chuckle, and it's dark humor, I guess. But anyway, the poor young men that died in that accident were they had a bright future ahead of both of them, and it's very sad that they passed away. And the family all the families do a very good job of representing who they were and talking about what the loss means to them. So anyway, yeah. So, but it was an interesting documentary. So if you have time to check it out over your long weekend, I recommend you do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it'll be past the long weekend.
Well, yes, maybe next weekend.
Next weekend, the normal weekend. Yes.
So there you go.
Sad normal weekend.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, back to me, I guess. So sometimes the best ideas form in the most unexpected places, Bob.
That's right.
True. And this was the case for the Carroll County Agriculture Society's annual Pulling for a Cause fundraiser that raises money for Akron Children's Hospital. Yes, in 2019, Marianne and Bud Smith, owners of S&S Equipment, pulled into the parking lot of Dollar General at the same time as their friend, an experienced tractor puller. During their conversation, they talked about not wanting to drive as far for tractor pulls. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And, wanting to really host a local one that people can relate to. So that's how they came up with this idea of fundraising for Akron Children's Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit, known as the ICU, and the Adult and Pediatric Burn Institute. So basically babies and burn victims.
Yeah.
So Taylor Cooper, who works for the Akron Children's Hospital, says the money goes towards the greatest need within these departments, which is really lovely. And according to Smith, every year the fundraiser keeps growing and growing.
Oh, wow.
The first poll held in 2019 raised over $33,000.
Wow.
Right? Oh, just you wait. Since then, the fundraiser has provided the hospital with a total of over $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and last year the poll raised $94,000 in just 1 year. Yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And this is all people that are doing this like with full-time jobs, out of their own good heart. Really wonderful people.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, and the Pulling for a Cause committee really hopes to knock that previous number out of the park this year at their 2026 Pulling for a Cause event set for June 6th. That's coming up right around the corner, everybody. So the event will feature classic tractor pulls as well as a live auction and many more fun, exciting things. So to find out the full details and more about this and just incredible fundraiser that they host every year, you can check out the front of our auction cover this week and also online. Go out, support a good cause, and have a fun time. That's what it's all about at this fundraiser. So
that's so rad.
Yeah, pretty cool.
That is cool. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do I have for you guys? Well, it looks like I have another story from the Associated Press again. And this is actually appearing in our rural section of the paper, the unsung rural section of the paper. The Trump administration on May 21st loosened federal rules requiring grocery stores and air conditioning companies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from cooling equipment, a step that the president said will help lower grocery costs. All right. So at a White House ceremony about this signing of this update for the loosened rules, Trump said that the action by the Environmental Protection Agency would, quote, substantially lower costs for consumers, end quote, by delaying costly restrictions that limit the type of refrigerants U.S. businesses and families can use. The move to relax these Biden-era rules on harmful pollutants known as hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, emitted by refrigerators and other appliances, was the latest attempt by the Republican administration before pivotal elections in November to try to address rising voter concerns over the cost of living. Okay. It is not clear how much or how quickly grocery prices could be impacted. Industry groups said it could even raise prices because manufacturers have already redesigned products, retooled factories, and trained workers to build and service next generation refrigerant equipment. Where's the that's not it. Well,
I think it's down there. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Whoops. The regulation from the oh, did I skip something? Did I? I did. Oh, I'm going to go back. It is not clear how much or how quickly grocery prices could be impacted. You heard me talk about that already, I believe. Industry groups said it could even raise prices because of all the reasons that I already stated before. Inflation in the United States increased. I was so distracted by that soundboard. I'm sorry, you guys. Inflation increased to 3.8% annually in April amid price spikes caused by the Iran war. Yeah, thank you for the delay. Yeah. Paul lost his train of thought.
Oh no, that was for the inflation costs.
Oh yeah, too.
that was.
That's also sad. Yeah, very
not for
appropriate
your
for
loss
that.
of train of thought, but I've been there.
So that we got inflation, she be climbing, and then inflation is now outpacing wage gains. As the war has kept oil and gasoline prices high. This is also relevant to the Sean Duffy column.
Yeah, but go take a road trip, guys.
Yeah. So anyway. The regulation from the Democratic Biden administration was, quote, unnecessary and costly and actually makes the machinery worse, end quote, Trump said at a ceremony joined by top executives from grocery chains. He said that the EPA action loosening these restrictions would protect hundreds of thousands of jobs and save Americans more than $2 billion a year, which is very rosy. This is very important to note that I would like to actually get across to everyone reading this. Trump actually supported limits on refrigerant pollutants in his last administration. His action marks a reversal after he signed a law in his first term aimed at reducing harmful planet-warming pollutants emitted by refrigerators and air conditioners. The bipartisan measure at that time brought environmentalists and major business groups together into rare alignment on the contentious issue of climate change and won praise across the political spectrum. The 2020 law reflected a broad bipartisan consensus on the need to quickly phase out domestic use of HFCs, which are thousands of times more potent than carbon dioxide and are considered a major driver of global warming. There's a lot more to this very interesting story, actually. So check it out in rural. And then before we sign off, I actually want to, I found all of these fun, I don't know, beads in the filing cabinet that I never go into.
St. Patty's Day beads.
St. Patty's Day bead. And I just want to do some quick ASMR.
Yeah. Oh my God, wait. We have the perfect microphone for that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me stop talking. Do it again.
It feels like magical, kind of, actually.
That was lovely.
Yeah,
Paul.
it's actually
I could
quite
close
nice.
my eyes and
I know.
you could do that, and I could fall asleep.
Can you imagine if the rain sounded like that?
I almost want to. I kind of want to guess, like, what is it? You know how, like, in like movies, they have that, like, what is that person like that makes a sound for movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost like want to close my eyes and just envision, like, what would that sound be in a movie? If anybody like closes their eyes and listens to that, let us know what you think. That sound would be in a movie.
Yeah. I'll never get tired of doing that.
It kind of sounds like ice in a glass.
Yes, it does. It does. And you're kind of like, oh, like a little sweet tea.
Yeah, like you're like you have like a nice sweet tea. It's a hot summer day, and that's the ice in the glass.
That sounds nice.
All right, I think that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Don't know why I got there. That conversation went there.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you this week.
Yeah.
So stay dry.
Stay dry.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Plan
Have
those
fun.
road trips.
Yeah. Yeah. And to read more, you should check out farmanddairy.com.
Yeah.
Or find your local newsstand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
We will see you guys next week.
Yeah. Peace.